So welcome to this brief presentation on professional coaching skills, which contains just a few ideas and concepts taken from the many contained in our Professional Management Skills programme and our 2-day coaching skills course and workshop. Hi there, my name is Kevin Davey and I'm Managing Director of Transform. The purpose of this presentation and others you will see under the Transform YouTube channel is to give you a flavour of what we do and how we do it. The concepts presented are just a taste of many incorporated into our broad spectrum of programmes, which you will find listed on our website. These high-energy programmes have been translated into a number of different languages and are delivered regularly by myself here in Ireland, North, Central, South America and across Europe. What's interesting to consider here is that the same challenges face individuals, managers and teams worldwide. Coaching is a method of helping an individual to move more smoothly through their work, job and career. Ideally, it is a process whereby knowledge, attitude, skills and habits, or as we say in Transform, cash, can be challenged, developed, enhanced or modified. At one time, knowledge and skills were the areas where most managers felt more comfortable coaching and providing feedback. However, nowadays staff and managers realise that very often attitude and approach are equally important areas for improvement. The correct approach by the coach can very quickly allow you to bring the more sensitive core issues associated with attitude into focus and will allow the coachee to understand the impact these behaviours are having on themselves, the team, and also should allow them to identify some solutions. This in turn provides you with a more professional, focused and productive team member. In the interest of clarity for the employee and in order to manage both performance and expectations, it is important to establish and communicate the competencies required for each role within the organisation. So what are the purpose of competencies? Well, 1. Competencies are what connect the employee's work to the strategic goals and vision of the organisation. 2. They improve organisational competitiveness and effectiveness and help achieve consistency and high-quality standards of performance throughout the organisation. They make performance appraisals easier and a lot more transparent and equitable. There are 4 categories of competency. First is job-based. These are developed following an analysis of the requirements for the job. Secondly are future-based. These are the competencies necessary to meet the future strategic objectives of the organisation. 3. Person-based. These identify the individual attributes that will help the organisation the most. 4. Values-based. The competencies which support the core values of the organisation. Task-relevant maturity is sometimes known as the learning ladder. It's where people progress through 5 steps in order to become competent in a particular area or discipline. The first step on the ladder is the unconscious incompetent. At this stage, people do not know that they don't know. The second stage is where the individual becomes conscious of the fact that they're incompetent in a particular area or discipline. At this point, hopefully, they are much more open to learning. Over time, they realise that they're becoming a lot more competent in the job, so at this stage, they are consciously competent. If a person is in a job for an extended period, very often it becomes routine and automatic. This is where they've reached the unconscious competent. Certain individuals at this point realise they are becoming bored and not learning anything new. At this stage, they have become conscious that they're unconsciously competent. It is the job of the manager to introduce change in order to motivate the person to take on new challenges. So you can see that there's only one stage that may not require coaching, and that's the unconscious competent. The other stages require some form of intervention, be it coaching, training, or mentoring. The empowerment window is developed from an original concept called the Johari window, first developed by 2 Austrian psychologists, Joseph Luft and Harry Ingham, in 1970. The first quadrant shows skills and attitudes that are known to the individual and the team and the manager. This is called the public or empowerment window because these strengths have been displayed in public, thus allowing the manager to empower the person to work to these strengths. Through coaching, it is the job of the manager to empower every individual on the team to work to their strengths, thus increasing individual, team and organisational performance. The skills and attitudes in the other 3 windows must be uncovered and moved into the empowerment window so the individual and the team can benefit. The word empowerment literally means giving power. The second quadrant is the restricted zone, or it is sometimes referred to as the coaching quadrant. These are potential strengths that neither the individual nor the team are aware of. However, the manager is. Strong managers will acknowledge this potential and develop it by way of coaching and mentoring in order to move the person into the empowerment zone to exploit their potential. The third quadrant is the hidden potential, where certain strengths are known to the individual and or the team. However, the manager are unaware of them. It is up to the manager to find ways to uncover this hidden potential. This is often done by giving an employee new projects or opportunities. However, these have to be carefully monitored in order to establish if the person really has the potential in that particular area. If the potential does exist, the goal then is to move the person into the empowerment zone via coaching. The final quadrant is the hidden potential that no one is aware of. Usually this unexplored potential is discovered when a situation arises for the first time and a member of the team rises to the challenge and a particular competency is uncovered. This has to be capitalised upon through coaching in order to move the individual into the empowerment zone, where these competencies can be put to their most effective use. So in simple terms, the goal is to uncover and identify potential, develop it through coaching, and move it into the empowerment zone where individuals are working to these strengths and thus increasing overall performance. Now I would like to take you through a coaching process and framework. This process is based on the acronym Q-LOVED. Q is for questioning. People learn a lot more by answering good questions rather than being told what to do. People often argue or push back if they feel that they're being lectured. Worse still, certain personalities won't argue. They will give you verbal yeses and mental noes, so you are left thinking that things will change, but they don't. L is for listen. When a person answers a question in a coaching session, two great follow-up questions are, how do you mean exactly? Or tell me more about that. This is what I call becoming intensely curious. O stands for observe. It is very important to watch a person's body language and facial expressions when you ask them a question. Even just a raised eyebrow can tell you so much about what the person is thinking or feeling. V is to verify. Often you need to check that what you've heard a person say is what they actually meant. You need to evaluate or weigh up the importance or relevance of the information. So E is to evaluate. D is for decision. At this point, it is important to summarise the discussion. This can be done by the coach or the coachee, or better still, both. It's to confirm that accurate two-way communication has taken place. It allows the discussion to move to the decision stage, where you get the person to decide and to commit to what will be done differently as a result of the session. As we have already discussed, questions are fundamental in coaching. However, so is the timing and the type of questions. Questions should move smoothly through three stages. Firstly, they should be broad, general type questions, moving to the more specific. And finally, to the very specific. If you have not gone through the first two stages and go straight to the very specific, you will break rapport and the process may stall. You must build trust and earn the right to go to stage 3. So use the questioning progression funnel to keep you on track. In relation to feedback in coaching, it is important to remember to separate the person from the issue. There are times when emotions can run high if a person is giving or receiving feedback. So it's important to remain objective. Objectivity will lead to a lack of emotion and therefore greater clarity and logic, whereas overly subjective behaviour leads to high emotions, a lack of clarity, logic and reason. So remember, always separate the person from the issue.